What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Watch Dogs Legion. I want to talk about if this game could be delayed. Now, we've talked about this game a couple times in the past. We've actually talked about it in regards to will it make its kind of a 2020 release window. You know, they push it. They don't exactly tell us when it's coming out, but the hope would be in 2020. We've talked about some of the issues with that. The fact that would it be kind of internally competing with Assassin's Creed? Is it going to be both current gen and next gen? How is that all going to work? And there definitely are some questions there, though. This is a game that I absolutely want to play. I want to get it day one. I had it all ready to go. I was ready to play it in November when it was supposed to come out. I believe actually wasn't pushed to end of March as well. So this is now twice that we've missed the time that Watch Dogs was supposed to come out. But I was ready to play it both times. I love the Watch Dogs franchise in kind of like a hard love, right? I actually really don't like the first game at all, but I like the premise of it, what it's supposed to be. I like the potential there, and so I like the potential of Watch Dogs Legion. But again, we talked about it with Assassin's Creed. Do both of these games come out this fall? Because I don't really see how you can even do that. Truly, we talked about, in my personal opinion, why I believe these are two games you absolutely spread out. You do not have them close together because, yes, they're very different games, but they're similar enough where you just don't, like, if they're in the same month, same 2 months, it seems like the plan actually from Ubisoft has always been Watch Dogs comes out in the year that Assassin's Creed isn't. Give them an entire year separated. Now, again, do you separate it by a year? Do you separate it by half and half? Because, you know, Ubisoft normally has, like, its springtime game, like For Honor or Ghost Recon or Division. In past years, they've had that. You also have their fall thing, right? Their whatever the holiday game is, which is normally Assassin's Creed. But, you know, with the fact that with next gen being pretty uncertain. Now, you know, we've talked about in the past, we've had polls, we've had videos talking about, you know, will next gen be delayed because of what's going on in the world? I'm still in the middle. I think a few days ago, Sony had kind of reaffirmed that, no, the plan still is PS5 this year. Now, things can change literally in an instant. In fact, by the time I'm recording this, that could have changed. By the time you guys are seeing this, that could have changed. You know, you really, in a world that we're in right now with all this stuff happening, things move super, super quickly, and you just got to be ready to react, right? So if next gen moves, if next gen comes out in February, does that affect Watch Dogs at all? Do you still put out the current gen version of Watch Dogs in November? But then isn't that when Assassin's Creed should have come out? Was Assassin's Creed supposed to be that game for next gen? So do you have to push Assassin's Creed, but Watch Dogs stays there? It's really interesting. It's really tough. And again, it's a situation we talked about Skull and Bones before on this channel too. I don't think Ubisoft wanted to be in these situations. You know, Skull and Bones probably was supposed to come out years ago. Again, that is kind of that game that I feel like is supposed to complement the other big game of the year. I think it's fair to say that, like, Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed, like when they come out in that fall period, that's the big game. Now, Ubisoft games sell extremely well and are extremely well sold. Division, the first one, sold extremely well. Ghost Recon Wildlands did absolutely incredible. For Honor did incredible and is still doing incredible. So, I mean, you have more examples. I'm not saying that those games are small, but I feel like the emphasis is always more on Assassin's Creed, more on Watch Dogs, stuff like that. And in a situation like this, again, Skull and Bones is an example where I feel like that's supposed to come out years ago. Now it keeps getting delayed, keeps being pushed. Does it put them in a bad spot? When do you actually fit that game in? And when you look at Watch Dogs, I mean, if you think about it, literally, if you just think about their plan, it was in, and I think I've said this before, it was in the perfect place because it was supposed to come out last fall. It was supposed to be Ubisoft's fall big game, the holiday game that would have sold millions, would have helped Ubisoft out a lot. That should have been and was supposed to be the game. And also, not just was it supposed to be that fall game, it was supposed to be that fall game because this year is most likely Assassin's Creed, because Assassin's Creed has taken several years off at this point. So now you have both of them probably going to be ready around the same time. But again, how are they working with current and next gen? Are they really going to try and come out around the same time? Or here's a thing you could say to throw me off in terms of my defense of what I'm trying to talk about. Maybe Watch Dogs comes out in like September. September is a period where games release. I know it's hard to believe, right? But September games release. This September, however, is crowded with Avengers and Cyberpunk. So that would be pretty difficult if you release Watch Dogs there. But honestly, I don't really see another choice because if you release Watch Dogs in September, 2 months later, you're still going to get Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed has tried to come out in the October period over the last little while, but they shoot for anywhere between late October, early November, right? That's generally Assassin's Creed historical spot. So, okay, you have Watch Dogs, and then a month later, a month and a half maybe, you have Assassin's Creed. Is that what that's going to do, by the way, is hurt Watch Dogs. And I feel like Ubisoft does know that. I feel like that's why Watch Dogs is supposed to come out, or was supposed to come out last year. Having it come out this year, again, if both of these games come out, Assassin's Creed is the big dog. Assassin's Creed is the game that Ubisoft would promote, especially because even again looking at it, if Watch Dogs was supposed to come out this past November, that means that it's very, very primarily for current gen. And so if it comes out in September, comes out in October, it's unless they've used the additional year to not only finish what they were supposed to finish or what they have to finish, but also really enhance it with next gen, do a next gen version or whatever, like however they're going to do it. Unless they were doing that, you have Watch Dogs coming out, and it's like, okay, well, this is that game for current gen. But then Assassin's Creed, well, this is a game that we want to show, like, Ubisoft is committed to next gen, and it was built with that in mind. So it's going to be really good. It's going to look good. It's going to run good, all that stuff on next gen. It is, however, going to be on current gen, so you can decide. But, like, doesn't that interfere? Because now all the talk, and I think anyway, no matter what, all the talk would be on Assassin's Creed. So it's tough. I don't know if that alone, just the whole like one versus the other debate, I don't know if that's enough to push one further. I don't honestly think that it would. That they look at it and they say, you know what? Well, Watch Dogs would just get crushed. We have to move this game like 5 months. That, or however long, because that would be an incredibly long time. Where if the game is done, it's done, and you don't normally, for game developers, you don't normally just let your game sit there when it's finished. Now, again, because of what's going on around the world, stuff like that, will that affect it? It could say maybe we have to push it anyway, and so actually it's just a good thing overall. I don't know, but if the game's finished, even if it comes out like a month and a half before Assassin's Creed, that's probably the best you're going to get. You're not going to get it to come out any sooner. It's not going to come out this summer. And again, if it comes out after Assassin's Creed, that probably looks really, really bad. So I think Watch Dogs needs to be the first of the two to release. And again, that puts in a tough spot because at most it's only going to have a month or so to go first. And even us as gamers, if we all buy Watch Dogs day one, if it's really this big open world that you're supposed to be spending a lot of time in, well, then Assassin's Creed comes out a couple weeks later. Aren't you going to leave, you probably leave Watch Dogs behind. And Ubisoft doesn't want that. I mean, I guess you're purchasing both their games. You're purchasing Assassin's Creed. That's important. But, all this time, all these resources, all these years have been sunk into Watch Dogs. Again, in a good I don't want to bag on Watch Dogs. I know this video has largely been doing that. I love everything I've seen from Watch Dogs. I think it looks by a mile the best one. I think it's got the biggest potential. And I want it real. Ultimately, that's what I want. I want the game realized. I want people to be able to play this game. And that's it. And they can't, I feel, they're not going to be able to, or at least fully, if Assassin's Creed is right after it, or it's at the same time, or Watch Dogs gets pushed after Assassin's Creed. All these different scenarios. It's not going to get the love, and maybe it doesn't deserve. I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to play the game to see if it deserves the love. But as of right now, I'm willing to give it all the chances in the world, and I'm just I'm afraid for this game. I'm afraid of a lot of Ubisoft games. We've talked a ton about Skull and Bones. We have a lot of Skull and Bones videos with a great community there, and so Skull and Bones is honestly in the same boat. I think in a much, much worse spot. At least we'll actually get to play Watch Dogs Legion. I think we'll get to play Skull and Bones too. But very, very interesting. I hope they both, honestly, I hope they both release this year. It could be a very slow period in the fall for games, especially if a lot of things get delayed now. If production on games, development on games gets delayed now over the next couple months, then we could see that ripple effect in the fall where there's just not that many games, because this would have been the time that a lot of in-depth stuff would have been like finishing, a lot of the finishing touches on games that would have been done around now. And so or a lot of the critical development time would have been done now. So we may see a lack of games in the fall, and so I would love to see. Maybe it works out. Maybe there's very little games in general in the fall because of all this stuff, and then Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed manage. They beat the odds and they find a way to both release, and then we get to play both of them. Maybe we won't have that many other games to play. It's very possible. But guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Watch Dogs is going to release in 2020? Do you think the game will be delayed again? It's already been delayed twice. Do you think they'll do it a third time? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe out there, guys. We're all in this fight together. If you guys need anybody to talk to during these times, if you're having a hard time, we're on on YouTube, we're on Discord, we're on Twitter, we're everywhere. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to anybody in the community. We can all, we'll all support each other here, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.